Okay.
Oh yeah, welcome everyone. Everyone hear me?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Friday night. Welcome HBYC members. We'll wait a few more minutes because there'll be a few more people logging in. Steve Cheney, you can pour one for me. Thank you.
No worries, Cam.
Oh dear.
Down the club. Where are you, Cam? What's going on?
You are down the club. Brilliant.
Do we all have our glass of wine ready to go?
I think.
Yes, yes.
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 Cheers, everyone.
Good health, everybody.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, good health.
Hurry up, John, because we've got the footy shortly.
Oh, the pressure. The pressure.
You can watch the footy in the background. That's no problem at all.
Hi, Rob. How
Yeah.
are you?
No,
Go Tigers.
last night was a bad result.
Dear, oh dear, I'd laid awake listening to the howling northerlies,
Of course.
feeling the house shake. It was just like, oh dear, here we go. Once again, you walk down the pier in the morning and it's all fine. It's lovely.
Okay,
It
good.
didn't blow away, so it's all good.
Reassuring, is it?
Oh, hello.
G'day, Ray.
It's amazing.
Okay, well, shall we get going? Welcome to This Is Your Life with John Erickson, but John renamed it. John renamed it 61 years or a lifetime wasted in boats. So,
Mr. John, surely not wasted.
yes.
Depends if
and-
you look at the bank balance.
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, John, you've been sailing since you were born, effectively.
Yeah, I must have been a bugger of a child because I think if Dad wanted to go sailing, he had to take him with him. So my first memory of sailing is at the age of, apparently I was 3. My grandfather, my father and myself went out in a 12 square metre Sharpie from Altona. And then the wind, we got caught with a southwesterly front. And I can remember my father telling me to put a life jacket on, and me at 3 years old going, no. And in that boat, I remember sticking my finger into the bow wave as it came up from the side of the old Sharpie. And I was given a coffee can, an old coffee tin, and told anything that came in I had to push out the side. And that was my introduction to recreational sailing. It was quite amazing, and I still remember the sight of that bow wave today. It's incredible.
John, I reckon you're the ideal weight at 3 years old to go up the mast.
Well, just about. Dad used to keep that particular boat on a mooring down at Altona, where Altona Yacht Club is.
Yeah, right.
And
Yep.
we were out fishing. We had a bucket of flathead, I remember, as a kid, at that point. But it's funny how those memories can stick. And there's been many more throughout the years, and a lot of them involving my father. Masts falling down and things like that, and boats sinking next to us, and huge collisions and things like that. But you have some influences on your life. And I think my father and my grandfather before him were two of the biggest influences ever. My grandfather, I can remember him when we were very young. He made up a set of netting tools, handles. I can't even think of the right name. And as very young children, he made us all line up in the backyard and make nets, teaching us how to make nets correctly. So we must have been fairly ordinary children because he tended to. They all tended to find jobs for us. It was amazing. I think we sailed all kinds of boats. I think my first trophy, I was 8, and it was a novice skippers race at Altona Yacht Club in a mirror, and I got 3rd. And I don't know what I did with that trophy, but they all had their noses put out rather sharply because they all had to cheat to try and beat me. And it went on from that. 8 years, same age, about 8 thereabouts. My first commercial slipping. Williamstown Sea Scouts, the 22-foot clinker built longboat, and I got a shilling. We wound it up the slip with a hand winch, and Matt Nicholas, the junior, he was the guy doing it. He ripped out a garboard plank and he laid out a piece of wood and he pulled out a handsaw and he cut out a new plank and offered it up, fitted it. I got inside and bucked all the rivets for him. We put it back in the water. And for 2 weeks after that, I bailed the thing every bloody night. The thing wanted to sink the whole time till it took up. And I got a shilling for that. So that was my first commercial slipping. It's amazing, amazing.
When did the jolly boats happen?
The jolly boats, they were much later on. They were after much various bits and pieces of dinghies, things like that. But the yacht club, of course, before the hard stand, we had a dinghy shed. We had jolly boats, we had cadets, we had moths. Hobson's Bay, of course, being one of the original clubs that had moths. Len Morris, he had Mark II at Hobson's Bay, Australian champion. But moths were traditional. But the jolly boat came from Wally Vernon. Wally Vernon was a man involved very much in the clubs and with the juniors. And he built a beautiful new boat. And he had his old boat, Toramaco. So he offered it to me. And I think the price was like $150 or something like that. And we used to race from Hobson's Bay. We used to run junior fleet races and everything like that. But we used to race at Port Melbourne because there was a lot of jolly boats at Port Melbourne. So I'd jump on the boat Saturday morning and sail to Port Melbourne just under Headsail on my own, and the crew would take the car across with a beaching trolley, and we'd pull it back up in there. And our absolute best we ever had at Port Melbourne was the Victorian or Australian Intergalactic Championships of jolly boats, and we were out there in our old wooden boat up against the hot shots, and there was 3 of us on board. I think it was Peter Henderson, who was a member of our club, Leon Raymond, who is a member at Williamstown now, and he was with us. He's been a member of Hobos for a lot of years. And we went out there and we were vying for the lead of the championships. Here was us, 3 young blokes, rash, brash, terrible. And with all these girls that we knew that we took with us, and we got into trouble over that and all kinds of stuff. And there we are, and we're vying for the lead. We got the last race. If we won, we won the championships. If we got anywhere better than 6th, we were 2nd. And the entire fleet ganged up on us. And there were we, just covered left, right, and centre. We're in terrible trouble. People rammed us on port. We're on starboard, but to get us out of it. And we ended up, we got 3rd in the championships. And geez, it felt good. It felt so good, especially when they came in and said, "Can you tell your girlfriend to put clothes back on, please?" Port Melbourne was that sort of beach at the time. There was but no, we had a lot of fun in dinghies. The moths were always great fun. We always had fun. I've still got the Mark II sitting up on the roof, which will be rebuilt one year. We've the moths were terrific. Cadets, sailed a fair bit in cadets with guys in Royals and things like that. And then we went from there. Well, we always raced keel boats. That was always it. We always raced keel boats, and we raced anything. We would rather sail than eat. It was one year in our first boat, Elsinore, which Dad built over nearly 6 years in the shed at home. We did 73 races in a season. And this was before Wednesday night. It was before Sunday races and things like that. We used to get on board at 7 o'clock in the morning and sail down to Sandringham or Brighton to race in their races if we didn't have one. And there was a lot of us back then that used to, we'd rather sail than eat. There was a hell of a lot of us. A lot of them became yardmen at Hobson's Bay, actually. We had quite a lot of very talented people working the winch at Hobos.
Kerwin's asking about your kitty cat days.
Oh, the kitty cat, they were much later. They were towards the end of our dinghy days. That was, we took a very antique kitty cat sitting on the side of the road, and we took it away, and we scrounged bits, Mark Gregson and I, and we put it in his backyard, and we did this kitty cat. It was a composite built boat by, some bloke in Queensland, can't think who it was, a well-known boat builder. And we took this thing, we put a full 14 skiff rig in it, you can start running 14-foot mains, cut down a bit. So we got hold of one, and it was a very, very nice main. So we swapped a slab of beer for it. And we thought, oh, hang on, we'll take the original mast and we'll weld a piece onto it, which we did, and tape it a piece and stuck it in and did that. Mark is a brilliant welder. And we did that. We built, they had extensions on it. We built new rudder blades. We did everything. We had to cut the jib down a little bit. And I think it was just one of those boats. And we went out there, and this thing was brilliant. But they're a very technical boat. And the good guys like Les Kiss from Williamstown and that sort of thing could always nail us, unless it was a handicap race where to get your season's handicap you had to finish in a certain position. And we've come along, we've gone, bloody hell, we're winning this. This is all right. We'll go for this. We'll win this. And we won it. So we got the highest handicap for the season. Les, who was the best guy, got the lowest because he came in last. It was very funny. But we gave up. With that boat. It was rather a scary circumstance for us. We're on a reach down, and they hadn't set the wing mark properly. And I'd been setting the wing marks for at least 2 years before that for the Sailing Club, and they laid it too high, and we've come down a reach. And I said to Grego, I said, can you see anything? And he said, I can't see shit. And I said, I can't see. There was so much spray off this poor old thing. We were flying. We passed the rescue boat at full throttle on the leg. So I said, no, bugger this, I'm throttling off. So I cracked the main. He eased the kite a bit. And as the spray cleared from the bowsprit passed over the top of the kid's head. He was in a mirror doing 3 knots. And that scared the willies out of us. We turned round, dropped the main, came back in the main, so pulled out of the water, said, who wants a boat? I said, what do you mean? I said, we can't do this anymore. Our nerves will not take this. I've never come that close to killing somebody. And we walked away from it. We walked away from that boat. So the kitty cats ended there. The javelins were before that. And Kerwin, of course, he was very, very good in the javelins, as he is in everything. We had an old boat we did up. We painted that all up. I can't even think what we called the damn thing. And we had great fun with that. Before that, we had an NS14, unheard of in Victoria. But upwind, it had beat the javelins. Downwind, it was all right. But prior to that, what did we have before? Oh, I can't even think. But that was sort of our foray back into dinghies. It was sort of like, we're at the age where we're rigging up. And I said, I'm not happy with this today. And Grego said, no, I'm not either. I can't see properly. I said, what are you going to do? He said, I think I'll go and get it looked at. Next thing we find, he's got a detached retina. Oh, dear, oh, dear. So we're getting a bit old for dinghies, I reckon, at that point. I sailed sabres for a while, raced moths against over at Sailing Club. Couldn't beat the girls. The girls were always faster than me. You had to cheat to beat the young guys. But we had, a Holdfast Trainer was one of my first dinghies, which is a Sabo with a bowsprit out of South Australia. Entertaining, especially when you put a big asymmetrical on it and things like that, which we always modified our boats. But boats like Elsinore, which is the first boat we built, 21 foot 6 long, built in the shed at home, strip planked with cowrie from the floorboards of Hoadley Chocolate Factory. And I remember on the bandsaw ripping down these floorboards to make the planks, 3/4 by 3/4 planks. And the smell of chocolate coming out of the planks. It was sort of oh god, it was a great boat. It's it's down the lakes, still lovely, still loved. So that was good. But we built after that. We put Erica together. Hull was built by Hank Dogger from Dogger Affair Marine down in Maddox Road. Sailed a lot with Hank, and I was very good mates with his sons. Hank Jr., Case, Max, and Hank Sr. was a big builder of trimarines, Bandersnatch, all those things, the boats that would have revolutionised the sailing world, except they fell apart. It's a bit unfortunate, but I remember sitting at their place one night, I don't know how young we were, listening to the HF radio, waiting for the hunt was on for Bandersnatch, went missing coming back from Hobart. And it was amazing. But there was nothing we couldn't do in those days as kids. We'd see a job and we'd just go and do it. It was the way you worked. It was, like if you needed a bit of plywood to fix your boat, you'd go and find a timber yard, or I walk into Knights next door, and you'd start sweeping the floor. After about a week, they say, "Who the hell are you?" And say, "Oh, I'm just helping out." I go, "Oh, do we pay you?" "No." "Oh, what can we do?" "Oh, I need a bit of plywood." "Oh, no worries." And you walk off with a bit of ply and you fix your boat. Same in the yard. When we worked on boats in the yard, we spent a lot of our childhood in the yard at Hobos and various places. Anyway, Juicing's yard down near the station, down the end there. We used to work down there. We go down, walk in the door, pick up a broom, start sweeping. And if we needed something, paint or anything like that, that's how we did it. We'd anti-foul a boat. They'd give us the off-cut of the paint. We'd paint our dinghies. It was a different world. It was so innocent and so good because there was no occupational health and safety. There was no insurances, anything like that. And we very rarely died. It's very rarely died. But it was great growing up in that. And as I said, because we've got so many years wasted in boats, it's ridiculous. We went on. I met Susie. We took her out sailing, much to her bewilderment. She was from a place called Wambuta. You go to Echuca, you cross the river to Moama, you turn slightly left, you drive till you run out of civilization. There's Wambuta. You stand there and it's curve of the earth country, magnificent. And so it was a bit different for her to come down and go out sailing with us. It was great. We ended up with Ventura, 34-foot ketch, and we had a lot of fun. Like kids, within 2 weeks of being born, are out sailing. All our kids did that. They got pictures of kids on the Moth. Eileen, the second, she's in nappies, hanging onto the forestay there like a supermodel as we sail around. Strange, but all intertwined with Hobson's Bay Yacht Club. I was officially a member in '72, but I was associated with the club for a lot of years before that because that's how you did it. You go down, go sailing, all that sort of thing, help on boats, things like that. And eventually they'd sort of drum into you had to join. So you join. A lot of us did that. It's very different now. But we learned a lot. There's a lot of big influences. The people I've met are amazing. The membership's amazing. There's people like, oh God. Now there you go. I've gone and forgot his name. That's when you get too old, so you forget all that sort of thing. But so many people from the early days that influenced. Greg Finchard, of course, great influence in my life. He called me an approximate engineer with a couple of nails that should stay up. And it was the way I sort of worked. It was when I slip a boat, work safe. I said, how do you know the balance is right on that boat? And you take a boat, you take a cradle, throw 40 years at it, and you should get it right. No, don't like that. Very hard to do to convince them that it's a very much an experience sort of thing. You get an old tradesman, you ask him to quote, he looks at it and he'll bang out a price, and you'll be within 3%. And that's the same with slipping boats. With Tim, working Tim with me, it's great because it makes you think about what you're doing. You don't just work on instinct anymore. You have to try and explain why you've put that boat in that position. I don't know how many boats I've slipped. A lot. When I took over the job, we'd had a bit of a reversal in our business lives. And Luke Smith, son of Roger Smith, another great man of the club. Roger had passed away and Luke had stayed on in the job longer than he really wanted to. So he put his notice in. I heard the rumour. So I went and saw Alice and said, Alice, if Luke leaves, can I have the job? She said, Luke's not going to leave. About 3 days later, Luke handed in his notice. I got a 3-hour handover between Luke leaving and me taking the job over. I had been slipmaster before that for a while.
Voluntary job.
And that was a voluntary job. That meant that when the yardman went on holidays, you took over and you helped him out, did everything sort of thing. And that was interesting. But when I took over the job from Luke, my God, it was a learning curve was so steep. It was incredibly steep. I think I slipped an aluminium Adams, small 26-foot Adams, and I couldn't even figure out how to tow it off the workboat. It's the workboat you tow off the bow. I couldn't even figure it out. And it was Jo, she owned it. We got it in, I got away with it. That was good. That was the first slipping from that. And it was, and from then it just went on and on and on. It's you go through to the last slipping I did when I left to go and work for Peter Roberts. At that stage, the pay rate was about $14 an hour, and I really couldn't survive on the wages anymore. And Peter came along and offered me a job. He said, can you come and work for me on this new barge? And I thought about it, and I realised that if I wanted to keep feeding the family and still have a boat, I had to do something. So we did the last boat, and there was Sonia working with me at that point. And it was about 5 o'clock. We were knackered. We'd punched out about 4 boats that day. And I was sitting there. They've come out and they said, you've got to come and have a drink because you're leaving. Oh, bugger me. I'm knackered. I don't really want to. I said, come on, you've got to come in. All right. So I went in. There was 200 people there waiting to see me off. My God. That's when you appreciate what a family a club can become. It was incredible. Look at that. Ryan. Hello. Leo. Amazing.
Tell us about Half Pint.
Oh, God, Half Pint. Half Pint was a boat that broke off the mooring and come back and smacked into various things, and I caught it. I tied it off out of the way and tried to track down the owner, and finally found him, and I took all the pollutants out of it and everything like that and made it all up. And under the rules, you can't claim salvage on a boat, but if a boat's insured, you can claim fair time and labour. So what we did with that boat is I cleaned all the stuff out. So I sent him a bill for $1,100, being very cheeky. And the bloke said, look, I don't really want the boat anymore, and I am not insured. And I went, oh, fine, forget that then. It doesn't matter. And he said, would you like the boat? And I thought about it. I thought, oh, yeah, all right, we'll get it. And Half Pint turned out to be in the 71 boat show. It was a demo boat for, oh, God, what's the name? A yachting company, not in Western Australia, Windward Yachts, I think, or something like that. And Erica was in there. Yeah, the hull of Erica was in the 71 boat show as well. They were both in there on the joining stands. And so I said, all right, I'll take this boat on. And it was the most beautiful, pleasant little boat you could ever have, apart from the one I got now. And it was brilliant. And what happened in the end with that was the guy who bought Erica off us when Dad decided to retire from sailing wanted out, but he loved my little boat. So he offered to do a swap. I had 30 seconds to think about it, and I said yes. What a stupid thing to do. Poor old Erica, we go out there in the first race, and we get out there and we passed the leading boat. It was a pursuit race. We all looked at each other and said, who's got the sailing instructions? We haven't got it. I haven't got it. Oh, bloody hell, we're in the lead. So we went through, we won that race. But the whole time, she was funny on the helm. She was just swinging. And she was always a very steady boat in the past. And it was swinging. Couldn't figure out why. And then I discovered all the frames were broken right throughout the whole boat. And the keel was swinging. It was an anti-canting keel. Oh, my God. So that went on to a lot of work after that. In the end, unfortunately with her, we thought she had rot through the keelson, and that was the death knell. So Bill Fiore and I was as crook as a dog with the flu. Bill had been worrying about me about the way I was trying to get through this thing. He said, come on, there's only one thing to do, cut it up. So when one Saturday we've turned up there and got the skill saw and a few other things, and we've hooked into her and we've chopped her up and got to where the rot was in the keelson, and we've sliced through it, and it was a bloody gum vein through the hardwood. It wasn't rot at all. We didn't, but by then it was far too late. It was just, oh my God. I still haven't told the family, although they're probably watching now, how that happened. And I gave up on boats at that point. I said, that's it, that's enough. Never going to do this again. And we go on to Lola. And Peter Roberts, my saviour in many, many ways, he came along and he said, look, Lola's broken off its mooring. I got it back off the rocks. And Renee has to get rid of it. She wants to get rid of it. Do you want it? No, I don't want another boat. I'm going out to bring out, I think it's Sonic, to bring her back to slip. And I've motored past it, and when it had broken loose, someone had kicked the hatch in and stolen everything out of it. The hatch was open, so stop and I'll put the hatch back in. So I pulled up, climbed on, sat in the companionway, and fell in love. That's it. Ruined. So I had to come home and tell Susie I've got another boat. That was great. It was
That's the way we go.
that's basically how we get most of our boats. And with a bit of work and a bit of thing, it is a delightful little boat. It's the last boat I'm ever going to have. I've determined. That's it. It says she. Yeah. And it's just a superb little thing. It's just a great little boat. This time during the lockdown, it's been a bit harsh because you walk past the boat 10 times a day. It's 20 foot from Fergie Pier, and you can't go near it. Very hard, very hard. And the waterline started to look grotty, and I'm a bit annoyed with myself over that. But no, Lola is a boat, but that last boat I'll have. I'll rebuild the Moth, and I've got a Sabo I'm putting back together and things like that. But no, she'll do it. It's very much like the combis, growing up through life. First car, 64 Microbus Deluxe from Dad, was his old car. So put that together, rebuild it, everything like that, go out. Not long after that, cartwheel it down the road. Total destruction. Take it back, find an old body, swap the number plates and VIN numbers over, and away we go again. We used to tow, I've got photos of that second combi, down to Hazelwood with a jolly boat on the trailer, the Moth on the roof, and a mirror upside down on the top of the jolly boat, going down to there to ruin Hobson's Bay's reputation out in the sticks, which we did successfully. They refused to invite me back once I went invitation only. We'd won the series in the jolly boat. I'd gone in and said, oh, what do you got? Oh, a jolly boat. Oh, one of those old barges. Yes, but not yes. I said, slightly modified. Masthead kite, twin traps, all the rest of it. So we've gone out and raced the sauna sail, and we just cleaned up. We just absolutely beat everything in sight. It was absolutely unreal. We won the trophy, which was a big kangaroo and emu and map of Australia pen holder, all made in timber. Lovely. So we're packing the boat up to come home. Loaded all the various girlfriends and everything on board and all that sort of thing. I'm tying the boat down, drove off, left the bloody trophy sitting on the bow of the boat. It fell off. Various cars ran over it. The committee from Hazelwood came out, and there's the trophy crushed in the mud. They thought it was a deliberate slur because a lot of people were criticising the trophy. I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant trophy. So the next year we go, no invite, not allowed. Get on the phone, ring a few people, and they said, oh, it was after what you did last year. Oh, well, we apologise for that girl running naked through the camping area. No, not that. And I said, well, the guy set fire to himself. He really wasn't with us. No, not that. Oh, Uchi, the Japanese guy falling asleep on top of the car in front of the fire and covered. No, not you know. Well, what the hell do we do? We've run out of things to say. He said, you ran over the trophy. Is that where it went? I got home and couldn't find it. Oh dear. So that ruined Hobson's Bay down there forever. I don't think we'll ever be allowed back in there. Now, unfortunately, the lake is no longer cold. They've turned the they've turned the fires off now, so it's no longer cold. But we used to do that. We used to jump on. We used to go Yarrawonga, anywhere. We'd go and sail and race dinghies anywhere. We're nuts. We're nuts. And then we'd come back. Our normal weekend, to show how stupid it was back in the day, our normal weekend is I'd take off. I'd finish work. I'd load the old combi up with fuel and jerry cans and food and everything like that Thursday night. Finish work Friday night, straight off on the highway down the coast. You'd drive until it got dark. And your combi, that wasn't far. But you'd drive, you'd camp somewhere. Next morning, find a beach, go surfing. Fire up, drive back, get back to Hobos, jump on the boat, go racing. Saturday night, you'd go to the drive-in. Usually the drive-in, something like that. Down to the tarmac or down to the drive-in, one of those. Sunday, you'd come back and you'd race dinghies. I don't know how we did it. We just did it again and again and again. And it was great fun. And then motorbikes came in. We'd go and race motorbikes, then come back. We'd race Saturday. Sunday, we'd go and race bikes. And on Monday, we'd all make our father's noise when we woke up, which is, oh, from agony. You know, that was the old joke. Oh, that's my father's noise. He's 53. I'm only 16. And now, of course, we're much older than our fathers were there. But no, the combi days went on. And now, of course, thanks to John Bish, another icon of the club, a man who at 90 odd, 93, 90, we're not sure. We'll have to find out one day. He, I think it was only before the lockdown, he was up his mast sorting out the radar. The guys handling the winches down below, they're only youngsters, they're all in their 70s. That was all right. But it goes to show you what you can do when it gets on. But he was 63 odd when he bought this combi. He gets up 30 years later, and I'd sent 6 years ago. If you want to sell it, John, I'll buy it off you. He's turned up and said, you still want to buy the truck? Oh, yeah. Said, oh, okay, no worries. I need it from you, boys. Yep, fine. Came home, said to Susie, got the combi. How much? Don't know. What needs doing? Don't know. When are you going to get it? Don't know. John turns up a couple of weeks later, pulls the key off the ring, says it's yours. Oh my God. It's the essence of what the place is like. The amount of times when I've had health reversals and I've been pretty crook, the amount of members that have come up and offered to pay for the treatment and things like that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's just, it's one of those places. There's lifelong friends. The members, I think we've got something special when it comes to the way they treat the staff. The people, the members, the people are so good, and you reciprocate. Yeah, because that's what you do. It's